Hello and welcome back to Artful. Today we're having another look at screen printing. In this week's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how I created a 3-colour screen print. We've got a red for the stripes and rock detailing, a light blue for the sky, and some dark blue for some shadows and the sea. If you've no access to a printer then no worries, simply draw a basic design and then you can use the light from a window to trace the separate colour layers. I'd use printer paper for the stencils, the thinner the paper the better. I've made the stencils in each colour to show you where to carve away. Now I'm using a scalpel, but you could use a pair of scissors. Goes without saying, but it's always worth repeating, always be very careful when using something sharp. I pride myself on tutorials that don't require any unnecessary hospitalisations. You'll see that I'm carving away the red, the light blue, and finally the dark blue. Once you've cut out everything you need, it's time for the really satisfying bit, the actual printing. I've already stuck one of our vinyl printing area stickers onto the outside of the screen, and we're going to start off with our red stencil. I'm using just a teaspoon to scoop out a liberal amount of that red paint onto the bottom of our printing area. Then I lift the screen away from the surface, and holding my squeegee at a 45-degree angle away from myself, I can push the paint in one smooth motion to flood the screen. I then quickly flip my screen and flip my paper stencil, making sure the top of the design lines up with the top line of the printing area. I make sure that the stencil is as flat as possible, sticking the design in place with some washi tape. I then place my paper under my screen and then line up the top of the screen with the top of the paper, just so it's easier to register when we print with the other colour paints. I then take my squeegee blade, holding it at a 45-degree angle so that the rubber of the blade flexes, and pull the paint towards myself. Remember, if you reflood your screens you can make multiple versions of your prints. And there's our first layer done, but no time to waste. Unless you want to reflood the screen and make another print of the red layer, get that screen, squeegee and teaspoon straight into the sink. The paint is acrylic based, so will start to dry into the mesh immediately. A couple of minutes under hot soapy water and your screen should be as right as rain. Once you're finished with your cleaning and your screen, squeegee and teaspoon are as dry as a bone, you can move on to the light blue layer for your sky. Then essentially you're repeating the process for the next layer. Taking your spoon to apply a large amount of paint to the bottom of your printing area, lifting your screen away from the surface, and then angling your squeegee blade to push your paint to flood the screen. Flip your screen and then making sure the top line of your stencil design is lined up with the top of your printing area, take the stencil to your screen. Flip the screen again, and this time we're printing on top of the red layer we've already made, making sure that the red layer is dry. Line up the top of the screen to the top of the paper and then pull your squeegee blade towards yourself in one smooth motion. And look at that blue paint has lined up with the red. Very swish. You know the drill, once you're finished printing, straight to the sink to wash away that light blue paint. And whilst you're watching me wash up, I'd just like to remind you to tag us all on Instagram at Artful Box with any and all artistic creations you've made with the Artful boxes. I'd absolutely love to see them. On to the final layer. The dark blue paint I'm using for the details of the sea and shadow is actually from our upgrade box, a link for which will be in the description. You can use any colour for your prints, but I thought the dark blue really complemented the other colours that I'd selected. I'm lifting the screen to flood it, and then flipping the screen to line up and tape our final stencil in place. Flipping the screen again, I'm lining up the top of the screen with the top of our print with the red and light blue layer already made. I pull the squeegee blade towards myself in one smooth motion, and then the big reveal. I'm really pleased with the way this print has turned out. You can see all the other tones we've made by layering the dark blue on top of the red. And one last time, as soon as you're happy with the dark blue prints, wash your screen immediately. I know I'm repeating myself, but screens are very easy to spoil if the acrylic dries into the mesh. Thankfully, they're also very easy to clean, so long as you're quick. And once you're done clearing up, your lighthouse print is finished. This took me about an hour and a half, factoring drawing my design and cutting out all the fiddly stencils. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, then please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch some of our other videos, or visit artful.co.uk. Cheers again for watching, and I'll see you again soon with a new video.